Oh hey, what's going on everybody? It's Adrian from over here at Pipe Dream Hookah, and today I'm here for you guys with kind of a half packing tutorial video, half hey, look at this brand that exists video. Now this is going to be a new brand to the channel, but it's also going to be kind of a newer brand to some of the big vendors, and that does include 5-Star Hookah. They just started carrying this brand that is going to be Amir. Today's video isn't going to be on a specific flavor, but I just so happen to have the Berry Splash and some Gum Mint with me today to kind of talk about a little bit. And then I will have reviews on both of these flavors coming out very shortly. But yeah, let's just go ahead and dive right into the video, and let's start off with what is Amir? Why is it different from anything else? Well, let's talk about a few of the differences first, because there are a few. One of them is it is a Middle Eastern style of tobacco that uses a pretty Western style of packaging. It's really neat because a lot like the Trifecta containers, the new ones that they put the blonde leaf in, and the older ones that the dark leaf are still put in, it's very similar to those. It's got this screw off top and it's plastic all the way through, so you don't really have to worry about your tobacco going bad because it's not metal or anything like that, and you don't have to worry about keeping it in a separate package or keeping the bag inside of here, which to me is kind of a pain, to be 100% honest. So that kind of separates it from a lot of the other Middle Eastern tobaccos. Now, unfortunately, it is dyed a pretty deep red. It looks a lot like Al-Fakr to me, actually. You will notice, though, that the cut looks nothing like Al-Fakr's. It's going to be cut pretty fine. I would say that this is going to be on the fine end of the medium cut. It's not leafy at all, and there aren't a whole lot of stems in the cut either, so I really do like the way that they cut this tobacco up. Now, one other thing that I do really like about this tobacco is that it's not super sticky. Although it does look a lot like Al-Fakr, hold for the rather fine cut, it's not sticky like Al-Fakr at all. It kind of breaks apart really easily. It feels almost like a dry shisha without actually being dry. It's actually got a pretty good amount of glycerin and molasses in it. Now, other than those few little things, there's really nothing separating this from a lot of the other Middle Eastern style tobaccos. It's dyed red. You're probably going to fluff or normal pack it. We'll get into that in just a second. And it's probably going to handle heat the same way as brands like Al-Fakr or Alpha Kama in a certain way. I know those two brands take heat a little bit differently from one another, but it's probably going to fit somewhere in that spectrum. It's not going to be anything like a dark leaf or a more westernized style of blonde tobacco like, say, Starbuzz. But we'll save all that information for the review. What I'd really like to do now is get into packing a bowl. I'm actually going to pack two bowls for you guys. The first one will be on this bowl right here. This is going to be the Hookah John Harmony, the wide gauge Harmony, and then the other one is going to be on this little guy right here. I've actually already packed them, so the B-roll is cut before the main roll in this video. It's just going to be a packing method for this little Egyptian bowl as well. They're not going to be a whole lot different. They're going to be very similar pack methods, but I find that a lot of people do like to see the different methods for different types of bowls, because there's certain people that really only want to use Egyptian bowls, and then there's people that want to use funnel bowls. So I figured I'd provide you guys with both methods, starting with the funnel bowl, because this is my personal favorite. So the first thing we need to do is make sure we have everything we need to pack a bowl. Obviously we have our tobacco, we're going to need our bowl. A few other things that I like to keep on hand are going to be paper towel, a foil poker, and an oyster fork. The oyster fork is very much an optional thing, you don't need it, but this is my favorite way to pack this, and that's how I'm going to be doing it here today. And then obviously you're going to need some foil. And the pack method is super simple. I wouldn't even put too much thought into it at all. Like Hookah John says, you can just kind of throw it in there. Now I'm just going to grab my oyster fork and mix the tobacco up so the molasses and glycerin are all kind of nice and spread out through the tobacco leaves. And then once it's all nice and fluffed up like that, you're just going to go ahead and actually load it straight into the bowl like that. You don't want to dense it down at all. You pretty much want the oyster fork to deliver the tobacco into the bowl at the same density that it's actually packed inside of the container after you've already mixed it up. It's going to be somewhat of a fluff pack, maybe a little bit denser than Al-Fakr, but we're probably going to fix that with the toothpick or foil poker as soon as we're done with that. But yeah, once we load it all the way around the bowl, we're just going to go ahead and get rid of this oyster fork for a second, and then we're going to use a foil poker to just kind of rearrange the tobacco to make sure all of it's just beneath room level, because from my testing I have found that this stuff doesn't like too much contact with direct heat, so we're going to try to avoid that as much as we can. And that's really going to do it for packing the funnel bowl. It's very, very user friendly. All we need to do at this point is make sure that the rim of the bowl is clean, throw some foil on there, make sure it's as drum tight as you can get it. This isn't the most drum tight I've ever gotten foil before, but this is fine for our purposes. And then we're going to awkwardly poke 3 rings of holes. I'm sure this will be easier for you than it is for me. Putting holes while you're trying to look into the viewfinder of a camera is very confusing and mind altering. But that's going to be about it. This is what your bowl should look like when you're all finished. And really quickly, I just want to move over and check out this Egyptian bowl as well, because the pack method's going to be just as easy. All you want to do is take your Egyptian bowl and make sure that your tobacco is still fluffed up inside of the container, and same thing, grab your oyster fork, take 1 or 2 scoops. It takes like 2 scoops. I'm not exactly sure how many grams. I'm going to guess around 14 for a bowl like this. and then you just want to dump them right into the bowl. And you want to make sure that it's the same consistency as it was inside of the container. Again, you don't want to dense it down too much. And then once you've got it done, you're just going to take your foil poker, do the same thing you did with the funnel bowl, just rearrange the leaves so they're not really popping out or anything. And then we're going to do the trick that we did in the alfalfa packing tutorial, where we take our foil poker, you can use a toothpick or anything like that, and just kind of clear out the center spire, and then I take my pinky and just make sure to clear all the tobacco out. So you've got a makeshift funnel. Now really quickly, if you guys don't have an oyster fork, you can just go ahead and do this with your hands. It's not going to be a big deal one way or the other. You're just gonna have to wash your hands, and I don't. I mean, I'm still gonna wash my hands because before I shot this part of the video I was playing with the tobacco so I could show you the cut, so my hands got dirty anyway. But for future reference, you might not have to wash your hands. And that's honestly gonna be it for the packing method. It's very simple. Make sure you don't poke too many holes, because from what I've seen so far, this stuff can't take a crap load of heat. It takes heat a lot like alfalfa. Maybe it's just a hair more heat sensitive than alfalfa. I'm not really sure yet. We'll talk more about that in a couple days when I do the review on the berry splash flavor. I'm actually gonna cut that in one take. I'll probably cut this video and go over to the berry splash flavor, so maybe I'll have the presence of mind to change my shirt. We'll see. But now that we've got it all nice and packed, and I already told you guys what I got going on, it's the Harmony Bowl with 3 titanium flats on top, I guess we can talk about performance just a little bit, maybe look at some of the clouds so you guys know that the pack method does work, and then I'll let you guys off the hook, because that's all this video really needed to be, just kind of a packing method and let you guys know that this stuff exists. I'm not going to say whether I would recommend picking it up just yet, because I do have a little bit more testing to do. Should be done in a couple days, but I will tell you these flavors are actually pretty good. Performance is where I tend to have a little bit of confusion as to, is this a good tobacco, is this a bad tobacco? I'm not really sure yet. That said, before we cut this video, I do want to show you guys some clouds, because the cloud content, as with most shisha tobaccos, is pretty decent, and it should be that way because it's 2018 and your shisha tobacco should be producing clouds. But let's check them out. Yeah, just like I expected, the cloud content is pretty good. A few little quick notes about the tobacco before I kind of move on to getting ready to record the reviews on this stuff. Just some, I think, some important bullet points. Now, like I said earlier, it can be a little bit tricky to nail the heat management with this tobacco. You want to make sure not to get the heat directly on the tobacco, or else you're going to cause some pretty bad burning early on in the session. It just can't take heat like some other Middle Eastern style tobaccos can. And then as far as heat management itself goes, this isn't going to last an insane amount of time either. I would keep this down to a 1 round of coals type of a tobacco. I wouldn't really be trying to drive this for an hour and 45 minutes. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have the longevity of something like alfalfa or alfalfa. So I wouldn't pick this up if you're looking for something to kind of save shisha on and get like double rounders for every bowl, because this isn't going to be a tobacco that's any good for that either. But really quickly, just so I don't say a bunch of bad things about this tobacco and cut the video, because I don't think it deserves that treatment necessarily. The flavor profiles are super interesting with this tobacco. Like, this berry splash is supposed to be a kind of a blackberry, peach or apricot type of a flavor. I'm not going to delve too much into the flavor profile on it, but it's a very unique flavor profile that I haven't really had in any other shisha tobacco so far. So it probably has some stuff worth checking out. I know one of my buddies that I talk to on the daily basis, I can't remember which one because there's a few people that have had the Amir tobacco, but they suggested blueberry jumbly, so maybe you can go try that out. I don't know. But that's just about going to wrap up this packing tutorial slash look this tobacco exists video. I'm going to let you guys off the hook. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in like 2 days with the review on the berry splash flavor. Thank you guys for watching again. I think I already said that. Did I already say that? I already said that. Happy smoking.